I'm Mike Avila with Sci-Fi WIRE, and I'm here at McFarlane Toys to talk with the guy whose name is on the marquee, legendary comic book creator Todd McFarlane. You told me you're making construction sets based on The Walking Dead. That kind of makes sense because the sets are there. Some of these other ones, when I heard Rick and Morty, it wouldn't really strike me as a construction set license, but then I see it here in person, and I'm like, oh, it makes perfect sense.
Right. Well,
different scale, right?
There's two options. There's two options now. So do you want just the figures of Rick and Morty? And if you're a fan of Rick and Morty, you can go get the figures, okay, fine, or your pillowcase, your t-shirt, or whatever else. But if you want like that scene, remember the scene when something happened? Right, for here, the portal, which is famous. You now can start creating scenes. And I can start emulating the scenes, and they can have it, instead of it just being then, oh, I like South Park, it's like, I like South Park, but I also like that moment in the movie, right? And so it's not that much different than when we did, let's say, something like Matrix, and I've got, you know, Keanu Reeves, who played the Neo character, you know, spinning and doing his shooting while he's moving with one hand, right? Because why? Instead of him just standing there like an action figure like this, it was the moment where either you're doing bullet time, where you're bending backward, or you're doing the flip, right? And you create these frozen moments of time that are the character and the movie and the things you talk about. And it goes back to the detail that McFarlane Toys was after from the very beginning. Right. Offering more than just the action figure, but being able to recreate scenes that you remember the most from those TV shows and films. And get it right. Right, because here's the difference between what I do and what, you know, even like Hasbro and Mattel do. The majority of what I sell is to people like 15 and older. So they are buying for themselves. It's their disposable income for themselves. They are way more discriminating buyers than a mom who gets tugged on the sleeve as she's walking out the door by her 6-year-old kid going, get me a Spider-Man toy. And so mom, I've seen it, when mom goes to the store, she goes, I need a Spider-Man figure, she needs the logo, right? Because as long as the logo's right and he's looks like he's got some webs and he's red and blue, she's good with that. The 6-year-old kid's not an artist, he's gonna be good with that, right? So, but you start selling those same figures to 20-year-olds, they're going to say, why doesn't it look like what's on TV? Why doesn't it look like what's in my video game? Why doesn't it look like what I see in the comic book? I mean, they're going to be the harshest critics you're going to ever have, because they're 20-year-olds and up, the vast majority who we sell to. Most of the rockers, I went in and they scanned me, because I look like a little skinny rocker, right? So I would go into the scanning machine and do it. So if there's... So that's your sculpt. Oh, I'm all these guys here, right? I'm all the little skinny guys. It's me, right? Jimi Hendrix. I'm Jimi Hendrix, and I couldn't do the athletes. The athletes I would just, because I played at a high level. I played Pac-10 baseball. What I normally do with the athletes is we hire guys from colleges, but what I do is I do the posing. So in other words, stand back. So in other words, I'm going to do a quarterback, then they don't get it, because here's what you can't do. You can't strike a pose of a guy in mid-action. So you can't look at a photo and go, okay, I'm going to be a quarterback, because there's no torque, there's no tension to your body. So what I do is I take it, because I played quarterback too, so I know lots of positions. I'll go, and then I'll freeze it. And then what I'll do, once I freeze it, all my muscles are taut in the right places, the shifting of my body's in the right places, and then they'll take photos of me going all the way around, and then they'll then either send that to the sculptors, our sculptors, and say, now add 80 pounds to it, or they'll take those photos and then basically do the trick with somebody else, and we'll get somebody to do the freezing. When we did Elvis, right, we brought in an impersonator, and he tried to actually just strike the pose. So he went, okay, I'll put the little toe, and I'll go, and it didn't work. So what I did was I had a boombox with Elvis's music. I go, obviously you know all the music, right? And he's like, yeah. I go, okay, I'm going to play it. And when I stop, this is just like musical chairs, when I hit the button, wherever you're at, freeze, right? So he would just go, and then when I turned it off, you'd have to, but at least it would be a natural movement in mid-flow, right? Instead of just trying to
muscles.
Right, yeah. Right. And then, to me, you get way more reality of of where the shifting of the bodies are and all that other stuff. So anyways, just goofy stuff.